Elon Musk, with a net worth of over $200 billion, built his empire from technology, electric cars, and rockets reaching for the stars. He is seen today as the symbol of modern wealth, a man who reshaped industries and dreams of colonizing Mars. But, in the 14th century, there was a man whose wealth makes even Musk look poor. A ruler so powerful, so unimaginably rich, that his generosity could change the fate of nations. His name was Mansa Musa, ruler of the Mali Empire, master of gold, and the richest man in all of recorded history. In an age before banks, before stock markets, and before billion-dollar corporations, Musa controlled the single most valuable resource in the world, pure gold. In the early 1300s, Mali was the beating heart of West Africa, rich, beyond imagination, overflowing with gold that the entire world craved. From the vast golden mines of Bambouk and Bure, caravans carried wealth across the Sahara, feeding the trade routes that linked Africa to Europe and the Middle East. In 1324, Musa set out on a pilgrimage to Mecca that would make his name echo across the globe. But this was no ordinary journey. It was a spectacle the world had never seen. He carried so much gold, he gave it away freely in every city. He passed Cairo, Medina, Mecca, flooding local markets with such wealth that entire economies collapsed and took years to recover. Merchants, rulers, and common people alike spoke of the African king whose generosity and riches defied all comprehension. For centuries, his wealth remained unmatched, not just in numbers, but in the sheer power it commanded. Mansa Musa was more than just rich. He was the living embodiment of prosperity, influence, and legacy. In the early 14th century, the Mali Empire stood as one of the most powerful kingdoms in the world. Its cities thrived with gold markets, bustling trade routes, and an unmatched influence across West Africa. But in 1312, the empire's destiny changed forever. A man named Musa Keita I ascended to the throne, a man who would become the richest person in recorded history. Mansa Musa did not inherit an ordinary kingdom. He took command of an empire stretching from the Atlantic coast to the heart of the Sahara Desert, controlling vital trade routes that connected Africa to the Middle East and Europe. Caravans carrying salt, gold, ivory, and precious goods flowed through his lands, bringing incredible wealth. But Mansa Musa was more than just a ruler. He was a visionary. He invested in education, architecture, and religion. Under his guidance, Mali's cities, especially Timbuktu, became centers of learning and culture. Scholars, poets, and artists traveled from distant lands to be part of this golden age. His rule was marked not only by prosperity, but by stability. Mansa Musa strengthened alliances, expanded territory, and maintained peace within his borders. His leadership set the stage for one of the most iconic journeys in history, a pilgrimage so grand it would echo through the centuries. In 1324, Mansa Musa embarked on a journey that would forever cement his name in history. This was no ordinary trip. It was the Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca. But Musa's pilgrimage would become the stuff of legend. He didn't travel alone. It is said his caravan included over 60,000 people, soldiers, officials, merchants, and servants. They crossed the scorching Sahara Desert, moving like a city on the move. Even the air seemed to shimmer with the wealth they carried. Mansa's personal retinue alone numbered thousands, and each one was clothed in fine Persian silk. Hundreds of camels followed, each carrying up to 300 pounds of pure gold. The sheer scale of this procession astonished everyone who saw it. As they traveled, Mansa Musa gave generously to the poor, to cities, and to anyone in need. In Cairo, he distributed so much gold that it disrupted the economy for years. The price of gold dropped dramatically, and stories of his generosity spread far beyond Africa. Witnesses claimed that his presence was like a vision from another world, a king of unimaginable wealth, yet humble in his faith. His journey was not just an act of devotion, but a display of Mali's power and prosperity to the entire known world. By the time Mansa Musa reached Mecca, his reputation had already preceded him. People whispered his name in awe. He was not just a pilgrim, he was a living legend. In the late 14th century, the Mali Empire continued to flourish, but its wealth attracted attention from beyond Africa. European merchants and Arabian traders were eager to access the vast gold reserves that had made Mali legendary. The empire's influence stretched far, touching lands that many had only heard of in tales. Mansa Musa's successors sought to maintain his legacy, balancing trade, diplomacy, and military strength. Timbuktu remained a hub of learning, where scholars debated philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy, attracting minds from across the Islamic world. Libraries overflowed with manuscripts, preserving knowledge that would inspire generations. Yet, even as the empire thrived, the seeds of challenges were quietly being sown. Rivals, both internal and external, eyed Mali's riches, plotting to claim a share of its prosperity. In the heart of West Africa, the empire's next chapter was being written, one that would test the resilience of its people and the wisdom of its rulers. By the late 14th century, Mansa Musa's influence had reached far beyond the borders of Mali. His wealth and generosity were legendary, leaving an indelible mark on history. He poured gold into the construction of mosques, libraries, and schools, transforming cities into centers of Islamic culture and learning. Timbuktu, Jen, and Gao thrived under his guidance, attracting scholars, architects, and artists from distant lands. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca was more than a religious journey, it was a diplomatic mission. He established trade links, forged alliances, and displayed the grandeur of Mali to the world. The gifts he bestowed during this journey were so vast that the price of gold in Egypt reportedly dropped for years, a testament to the sheer scale of his wealth. But Mansa Musa's impact was not only economic or architectural. His leadership set a precedent for the region, inspiring future rulers to value education, religion, and prosperity. His reign became a benchmark for wealth, power, and vision. Even centuries later, the story of Mansa Musa endures, a symbol of Africa's rich history and the extraordinary potential of its empires. In the early 14th century, Mali had reached the peak of its prosperity under Mansa Musa. Gold flowed like rivers, cities thrived, and Timbuktu became a beacon of knowledge. But even in the height of power, Musa knew that the true strength of an empire lay not just in wealth, but in influence. He began strengthening diplomatic ties with neighboring kingdoms, exchanging ambassadors and gifts, creating alliances that would ensure Mali's dominance for generations. Traders from the Mediterranean, North Africa, and the Middle East traveled tirelessly to Mali, eager to partake in the riches and wisdom the empire offered. Mansa Musa's dedication to education and culture became legendary. Scholars from distant lands arrived, bringing manuscripts, philosophies, and inventions. Mosques, schools, and libraries sprang up across the empire, transforming Mali into an intellectual powerhouse. Timbuktu, especially, became synonymous with learning, attracting poets, astronomers, mathematicians, and historians from every corner of the known world. Yet Musa's influence wasn't limited to education. His administration implemented systems for fair taxation, trade regulation, and law enforcement. Caravan routes were secured, marketplaces flourished, and the empire's economy became a model for prosperity and stability. Even the arts flourished. Under his reign, goldsmiths, architects, and craftsmen created works that amazed travelers. Music and storytelling thrived, passing on the tales of Mali's greatness from one generation to the next. Every corner of the empire reflected the vision and wisdom of its ruler. By the end of his reign, Mansa Musa had not only expanded Mali's borders, but also secured its legacy. His leadership became a benchmark for rulers around the world, illustrating how wealth, education, and diplomacy could create an empire remembered for centuries. In 1324, Mansa Musa embarked on a pilgrimage to Mecca, a journey that would become legendary. He traveled with a caravan so vast it stretched for miles, carrying gold, gifts, and provisions for thousands of people. His wealth was so immense that it astonished every kingdom he passed through. As he moved through the Sahara, his generosity left an indelible mark. He distributed gold to the poor, built mosques, and funded schools and cities along the way. This pilgrimage was not just a religious journey, it was a display of Mali's power, wealth, and culture to the wider world. The streets of Cairo overflowed with people eager to witness Mansa Musa's grandeur. His influence was felt in markets, in architecture, and even in the rise of scholarship. Timbuktu's fame as a center of learning began to spread across continents. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage reshaped perceptions of Africa. For the first time, the world saw the immense riches and sophistication of the Mali Empire. His journey inspired awe, respect, and even envy among rulers far beyond his borders. By the time he returned home, Mansa Musa had transformed not only his empire, but also its place in global history. His pilgrimage became a story passed down through generations, a tale of wealth, wisdom, and faith intertwined. Through this journey, the Mali Empire secured its legacy as one of the most prosperous and advanced civilizations of the medieval world. Mansa Musa's story would forever illuminate the history of Africa, gold, and the power of vision. In the late 1320s, the Mali Empire faced challenges unlike any before. Mansa Musa's successors struggled to maintain the vast wealth and stability he had established. Factions within the royal court vied for power, and distant provinces began to assert more independence. Yet, the legacy of Mansa Musa's golden era still shone brightly, a reminder of what had once been. Timbuktu remained a beacon of knowledge, its libraries filled with manuscripts that chronicled the empire's greatness. Scholars and merchants traveled from far and wide to witness the thriving cultural heart of West Africa. Even in turbulent times, Mali's cities continued to pulse with life, their markets buzzing with gold, salt, and exotic goods. Amidst internal strife, Mali's influence extended beyond Africa. Tales of the empire's immense wealth reached Europe and the Middle East, inspiring both admiration and envy. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage and generous gifts had cemented the empire's reputation on the global stage. However, the cracks in governance were becoming evident. Local leaders grew more assertive, and trade routes faced new challenges from emerging powers. The cohesion that had defined Mansa Musa's reign was slowly eroding, signaling a shift in the empire's fortunes. Despite these challenges, Mali's cultural and intellectual contributions endured. The libraries, mosques, and schools built under Mansa Musa's guidance continued to inspire generations. Even as political power fluctuated, the empire's influence on art, education, and commerce remained undeniable. The story of Mali in this period is one of resilience and legacy. It shows how a golden age, initiated by one extraordinary ruler, can leave an imprint that survives centuries, shaping the history and imagination of the world. As we reflect on this chapter, it becomes clear that Mansa Musa's Mali was more than just wealth. It was a civilization that combined prosperity with learning, power with vision, and ambition with culture. The echoes of this greatness still resonate today, reminding us of the heights human achievement can reach. In the late 14th century, the Mali Empire faced a crossroads. Mansa Musa's successors inherited immense wealth, but the world was changing rapidly. Trade routes shifted, and new powers emerged, challenging Mali's supremacy. Despite the challenges, Mali remained a beacon of culture and learning. Timbuktu continued to attract scholars, poets, and merchants from across Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Libraries filled with manuscripts preserved knowledge for generations to come. Yet, not all was peaceful. Rival kingdoms, internal conflicts, and succession disputes tested Mali's strength. Leaders after Musa struggled to maintain unity and control over the vast empire. Still, the legacy of Mansa Musa endured. His pilgrimage, generosity, and vision had placed Mali on the world map. Future rulers drew inspiration from his example, striving to keep the empire prosperous and influential. The story of Mali in this era reminds us that even the mightiest empires face trials, but their cultural and intellectual achievements can outlive political turmoil. The golden age of Mali left an indelible mark on history, echoing through centuries as a testament to human ambition, wisdom, and generosity. The story of the Moors is not just a tale of conquest and rule, it is a story of lasting influence. Across centuries, their contributions in science, architecture, literature, and governance shaped Europe in ways that still resonate today. From the soaring arches of Andalusian palaces to the intricate knowledge preserved in libraries, their brilliance transcended borders, even as Christian kingdoms reclaimed territories. The echoes of Moorish innovation remained. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy thrived in the cities they built, influencing European thinkers and shaping the Renaissance centuries later. But the Moors' legacy was not only intellectual. They introduced new agricultural practices, irrigation systems, and trade networks that transformed local economies. Their cultural imprint, our music, language, and cuisine left an indelible mark on the Iberian Peninsula, blending with European traditions to create a unique and enduring heritage. The story of the Moors is also a lesson in resilience and ambition. Despite facing invasions, political upheavals, and eventual expulsion, their spirit endured. Across North Africa, the Middle East, and beyond, their descendants carried forward knowledge, traditions, and pride, ensuring that their influence would never be forgotten. Today, as we study history, the Moors remind us that power is not only in armies and conquest, but also in wisdom, culture, and the ability to inspire generations. The golden age of the Moors stands as a testament to human ingenuity, bridging continents and eras, and leaving a legacy that continues to illuminate the world. The Moors, Black kings who ruled Europe, their story is a reminder that greatness can transcend time, borders, and prejudice, and that history's true richness lies in its diversity and brilliance.